Hey, good morning everybody out there in Chicago listening land. This is Michael James. I'm here with my co-host Katie Hogan. Our other co-host Tom Clark is off today celebrating his birthday. And we welcome you to another edition of the Live from the Heartland show. We're down here at 26 East Pearson at the WLUW studios. And we have a really nice lineup. Sometimes we have a lot of guests. We only have two today because they are worth much time. And we're going to have Jeff Smith. He is a candidate for mayor up there in our city sister to the north. That would be Evanston. And then we're going to start off with our old pal and good friend Lauren Deutsch from the Jazz Institute Chicago. And with that said, Katie, we've got a few minutes to hit people to what's going on in the world. They might not have read a lot of news yet this morning. We're going to tell you what's going on.
Well, we'll do our version of it, as you all know.
Of course.
We've been reporting on the ongoing resistance, which is still strong and should remain so. Everybody take a breath if you need it.
Pace yourselves.
But stay in the struggle because it's going to be a long haul. There's an event Monday night, this coming Monday, February 13th, from 7 to 8:30 at Living Waters Church in Rogers Park called Protect Our Community, Rogers Park Neighborhood Action Meeting. So we'll be talking about what's happening with members of our community who are threatened by this currently in abeyance executive action, but you know, it's got everybody on edge and it's got more than that.
You're talking about the ICE raids.
Well, I'm talking about the potential for that. I'm talking about the executive
Immigration ban?
Yeah, the immigration ban, the travel ban, the everything that was put on hold this past week has not really made it any easier for those populations.
Well, one of the things that's going on in the last 2 days is ICE, which is the, what are they actually called? Something ICE, customs.
Immigration, customs.
And custom enforcement.
Yeah.
And a woman in Arizona went to report in. She's been doing that for 21 years. She's married to an American citizen. She was brought here by her folks when she was 14. She has 2 children who are American citizens. She went to report in, as she has done for many years, and they shipped her back to Mexico. I got a call from...
was she a targeted known criminal?
Well, she did have an issue with a false Social Security number, and that's what they used.
Yeah, so that's what they're using. They're using, I mean, it used to be, the word was, it was targeted known criminals, particularly
well, what we also heard...
felons.
Yeah, but we also heard from a friend of ours in the community who's active in immigration issues around the country, is that he thinks they're like kind of rogue acts. He doesn't know if it's a full-fledged policy yet. But in a number of places there have been raids. In California, I saw the head of the California Senate on TV last night talking about raids all over the state, and they are unable to get a list yet from the government of people who have been deported.
Florida, Kansas, Texas, Northern Virginia, raids of unusual intensity. This is sending a shockwave across the country because they are going after law-abiding citizens. They are going beyond
the non-felons.
The quote-unquote targeted known criminals, which we must always admit Barack Obama did the most deporting of in his 8 years.
Unfortunately, he set an improper precedent.
Well, you know, it didn't.
I think he thought that would give him some room to move on other issues.
I'm sure
and
he
it didn't really come down that way.
So the places that have been hit in Austin, people were picked up in a shopping center parking lot. There are reports of of ICE agents going door to door in certain neighborhoods, taking people out of their homes. And there are also reports, which ICE officials have denied, of checkpoints in both North Carolina and Texas. It's part of what they call Operation Cross-Check. Anybody remember that term? Oh, just a few months ago they used it to get rid of a lot of voters in Michigan and Wisconsin. That was called cross-check too. Is this just the administration's way of getting rid of people that are in the way?
Well, we hope that the media will cover some of these raids and actually show the procedures and the vehemence and the tragedy that surrounds it all.
Yeah.
Let's move along a little bit. One good bit of news, you know, we were all kind of set back by the Trump's decision to go ahead with the Dakota Access Pipeline after Obama had the Army Corps of Engineers look at it again and they had backed off. They're back on it, but lo and behold, the veterans from a number of wars are showing up in Standing Rock again. It's all over the news today, and I'm not sure how many there are there yet, but there are many more on the way, and their position is we have faced fire before, and we're willing to face fire again, and we are going to stand between those who would fire and the militarized elements that are there trying to encourage the pipeline going forward, and the native indigenous people who are the water protectors. And we will see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's it's good reporting.
Yeah, watch it. It's happening now.
And there's also a water protectors group has sprung up with some strength in Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania, around another pipeline there. In all, pipeline obstruction will become, I think, more of a thing. And when there's a march on Earth Day this year, I love this. There's a science march. Scientists are marching in Washington in April to stand up and say, yo,
well,
we know some of this stuff.
I still believe the Earth is flat, so I'm not sure I'm going.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's...
nice try, Michael.
Yeah, good luck.
One other thing I just want to, I'm happy is still in the news, and I know it's a result of the phone calls, the endless phone calls people are making. National Security Advisor Mr. Flynn finds himself in a bit of a kettle regarding his conversations with Russia the day after then President Obama slammed some sanctions in their way and announced an investigation of their tampering with the election. I mean, really, folks, come on. If this were Obama and he had the similar connections, you'd be in the streets, wouldn't you?
Well, this could be a big deal. I mean, if that's
yeah.
true, it could bring him down. Let's see what happens. I had one more thing on pipelines, and I don't know where it is, but it was all over the news. I had it on mute.
I love this when Michael does.
And, well, it was a pipeline was on fire.
Let's find it.
Big-time pipeline on fire yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Where?
Yeah,
We don't know where.
Yeah, that's what's... Maybe one of the listeners will call in.
Yeah, give us a text, you guys.
Text
I can't call him.
773-965-8005.
I can't believe he does that either.
Well, what the hell?
There is also a dam that has a big hole in it in California. The Oroville Dam has caused a major sinkhole, and it's a very scary situation. It's this kind of infrastructure issues that, if you're serious in government, you are keeping an eye on. And they are serious out in California. They know it affects the drinking water of 20 million people. California is ahead of the rest of us on managing water because they've had to be. The rest of us should not pay attention.
Now they're going to sell water. They got so much of it out there. I mean, it's big time
You just
rains.
made that up, didn't
I
you?
did. Maybe,
Okay,
maybe Tom Selleck won't have to
news here
import the
from
water
Michael
anymore.
James.
All right, so a number of Republican congressional reps, representatives in Congress, have held their town meetings, and they are being deluged with people to their left, both in Utah and in North Carolina, I think it was, or Tennessee. Big turnouts, and people all of a sudden know an awful lot about Obamacare and want to defend Obamacare. On another note, the Trump has backed off a little bit on China. He does accept the two-China policy. He says he'll abide by that.
One China.
And one China. Oh, my apologies. And I think that
Michael's full of alt news today.
they're starting to say that he
At
is.
least we have the instant check.
All right, I've got two sports-related.
All right, we'll see if
items.
this is real. Come on.
This is real. This was from the New York Times. A former truck driver, cab driver, living in France named Robert Marchand. He is 105 years old. And they say he is getting better and better, faster and faster with age. He trains now with an institute on aging. He'll do 80% of his bicycle riding will be slow and easy, and then 20% is real intense. I share this because, well, it's important that us are getting older have some inspiration to keep working out and going forward. And another sports note,
Thank you for that.
it's not all
The elder news.
not all African Americans. There's one white guy so far. On the New England Patriots, there's 6 total who say they're not going to the White House.
Shine on, my brothers.
Yeah, we'll see how it happens. That's
out
about
for
it
those
for this morning. It's a great deep discussion.
Yeah, we'll have more local news when we get Tom back, because he keeps an eye on more levels of things than 3 heads is what it takes to bring you this show. So, hey Tom, happy birthday. And yeah, come to that meeting, Protect Our Community, Monday night. It's local.